American prisons are one of the few places in our culture where, indisputably, in the prisons that I've been in, poetry is quite important. It's an art that you don't need a lot of equipment to do. If you memorize a poem, you don't need any equipment at all to recite it, and you can write it in your head. One of those guys at Guantanamo, I put this in the poem in my new book, incised his poems into styrofoam cups until he got writing material. Mandelstam is said to have written them into soap, but then eventually they're memorized. I mean, poetry, the very things that make it small, also make it human and make it very essential. The fact you don't need a lot of equipment, the fact that I can be reciting to a poem by myself while I'm in solitary or while I'm driving or taking a shower. Can't do that with your electronic instrument, I don't think. I guess they do have ones you can use in the shower, but you get what I mean. And as far as I could see, which is not so far, I'm reading translations, and they're translations done basically by legal interpreters. They're not translations that are literary. As far as I could see, as in prison, there's a range of sophistication. I mean, I did some teaching in a medium security prison, which had some lifers in it. Those guys wrote like graduate students, some of them. Some of them had published. They're lifers. They have a lot of time to read. They have a lot of time to think. They have a lot of time to practice in art. They're not going anywhere. And they become sophisticated writers. That's moving in a way. Most moving to me were the opposite. Really young kids, very naive writers. Oh, Mom, I know I did something wrong. I wish I could make you a better song. You know, very crudely rhymed, earnest. Sometimes you could tell that they had not done so well in high school. And they're innocent. They've done very nasty things, some of them, or somewhat nasty things. A lot of it had to do with drugs. And that was one of the things that struck you about prison, where I was anyway, was this terrific range and the centrality of the art. Those prisons are interesting play. Eventually I couldn't stand it. Some people get into it, they do it forever. It sounds like a joke. It reminded me too much of junior high school. I couldn't stand the regimentation. Every time I had to put a coin in a locker with my watch and take it out, and which book I could have and couldn't, and what Panthers, I did something wrong every time. And it was just like junior high school, where I also did something wrong every time. So it just was too depressing for me to really become one of the main people doing this. It's one of the few, those poetry readings at, I think they've migrated to another institution. At that time, it was Massachusetts Institution in Norfolk, same prison Malcolm X was in. It's as though those people, it was racially much less segregated than your average Ivy League dining hall. As if those guys had gone through American racial nuttiness and come out on the other side somehow, so that you go to you see the stupid scene at Princeton or somewhere, and people are segregated by race, and here are these guys at the poetry reading. They're not doing that in prison. These are a bunch of some of the murderers, bank robbers, certainly drug dealers.